this is way better than we thought. We've got to talk about some NHL rankings and where your favorite Devils rank. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Devils Digest. I'm your host, Ryan the Goose Gosiker, here with you, as always, bringing the latest, greatest Devils content. Before we get into the program, I want you to be a subscriber. We need your help to get to 1,000 before opening night. We need this channel to explode, so we need you to help us get to 1,000 before opening night. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get into the program. Now, today I want to talk about, there was a list put out by NHL Network, okay, of the top 20 centers. Okay, they were ranking them. Okay, so Jack Hughes coming in at number 11. I'm going to get to that as well. I would say the bigger surprise, and maybe surprise is a little too much, but I don't think so. I think is Nico Hischier there at 14. I think Nico, it's really a jump and a credit to him, okay, of the work he's put in over the course of the years that has gotten him to this point. And again, I still think there's even room for him to grow, okay? I think Nico Hischier still has plenty left in the tank, obviously, and he's going to be here for a long time. So Nico, to me, is a player that he's sitting at 14 now. I think he can easily get to the top 10, okay? So, I think that he still has levels of growth in his game that would make him a top 10 center in this league. Now, Jack Hughes at number 11, I think, and this is my opinion, is that some people see that and are like, kind of don't know how to feel. I think there's a mixed bag of emotions there in the sense of, yeah, I think we think Jack is better than that, should be a top 10 center in the league. We think of him as one of the top ones. But I actually think this is a relatively fair ranking considering the fact that, and I don't know if they did this on purpose, I don't know if they actually took this into consideration, but injury history, right? I mean, if you can only bank on him playing 62 games a year, you can't have him be a top 10 center in the league because he's not going to be on the team long enough. Okay, so I actually think this is a relatively fair ranking for Jack. And again, to see Nico not that far behind him, I think is a testament to what Nico has done in his NHL career to continue to grow from there. So here is the full list. I know it's a little bit hard to see, okay, but obviously Connor McDavid being number one, Nathan McKinnon, okay, up there, Draisaitl, Barkov, Sidney Crosby still up there. Kind of crazy, right? I mean, after 20 years, he's still in that discussion. Jack Eichel is up there, okay, Austin Matthews, Braden Point, okay, and there's been a lot of discourse, right, online, and I've seen some Twitter conversations going back and forth, people talking about how, if Jack Hughes could stay healthy, you would probably consider taking him over Austin Matthews. And now, again, that's not my opinion, but I do believe Jack Hughes, if he was healthy enough and could stay healthy enough, belongs in this top 10, okay? It's, and he's obviously at number 11. We're not talking about how he's number 25, okay? So Jack Hughes is, I think, in my opinion, in a fair spot considering his injury history. And like I said, Nico Hischier, look at that. Nico Hischier's up there with some of the best centers in the world, in the sport, okay? So, he certainly deserves his flowers for what he's been able to do. And, again, I think if you gave this list to somebody, I think 3-4 years ago, or even on draft night, when Nico got drafted, you would be thrilled, okay? You would be thrilled. Now, if you gave the same list to Jack when Jack got drafted, he'd be disappointed. I bet you he is disappointed, okay? Because I think he and a lot of us Devils fans know that he is better than that and should be a top 10 center in this sport, but his injuries keep holding him back. So that's why, if you have any questions, in my opinion, if you have any questions on the Devils this season and how, things are going to go and how, where's the Devils' ceiling? Can they get to the second round? Are they just a first round and out? Can they get to the conference finals? Can they surprise somebody? Nothing. It doesn't. The buck stops with, can Jack Hughes stay healthy? Because if he can't, they don't have a shot in the world. Okay, I know I've seen you guys comment, okay, that he's softer than Charmin. Okay, I've seen the comments. All right, again, made of glass, stuff like that. Okay, if that's the case, the Devils aren't going anywhere. If he has a major injury and can't play and is out for a long stretch of time this season, or is out at the end of the season like he did last year, The Devils don't have a shot. Okay, so that's where the buck stops. And again, like I said, Jack Hughes probably very upset with this ranking. Okay, wishes he was in the top 10. I say that kind of facetiously because I really don't know, or I say that more figuratively. Okay, because I don't think Jack Hughes is sitting at home with his brothers just waiting for the top centers list to come out from NHL Network. But I can tell you he's seen it. I'm sure he's, had discussions about it with friends and family and stuff like that. Okay? And he certainly thinks he's a top center in the league. If he could stay healthy, 100%. Totally agree. But I think this ranking right here screams you get hurt too much. We can't put you in the top 10. So it's interesting. And like I said, Nico Hischier, credit to him as he continues to try and find his way as a captain here in this league. Okay, I know, people have strong opinions about that as well as to how good of a captain Nico can be, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, I think, I've said it before in previous videos, he has the skill level to be to be a point per game player in the NHL. And I'm really hoping this is the year he puts it together. And we saw last year he led the Devils in scoring 35 goals last year. Okay, so that's obviously still there and valuable, and all the things he does that are ancillary pieces to what the Devils need to be successful. Taking offensive zone faceoffs, taking defensive zone faceoffs, taking, faceoffs to start a penalty kill, to start a power play, stuff like that. All the little things that Nico does. Again, I think, two players kind of feeling a little bit different about this ranking. Nico, he's just got to be happy, and obviously I think he's got, as I said, room to grow. And I think, I don't think he's not far behind a guy like Bastian, stuff like that, guys in front of him. So this is not something where, I think Nico can continue. I think Nico can continue to rise in these rankings, and I'm happy to watch him do it, and I hope he does. And that's good for New Jersey if he continues to do that and plays at a level higher than the 14th best center in the sport. Okay, so the Devils, it's like I said, two guys feeling totally different about it. If you're Nico Hischier, to me, you got to feel ecstatic, and if you're Jack Hughes, you feel like you got a lot to prove, and he does. He's got to prove that he can stay healthy. As I've said it, it's not even can he stay healthy for 82 games. Can he stay healthy for 75? Okay, can he be there for 75 games, 70 games? Because each of the last 2 years, his season's been cut at 62 games. That's just not good enough. That's not going to cut it, and that's not going to allow the Devils to reach the ceiling that they have, which, in my opinion, with the current roster construction, should be at minimum the second round. Right now, it's first round and out. They've done, they were last year. Okay, so let's see. Jack, you got to stay healthy. Please. So we'll see how the season pans out. You just never know with some of that stuff. Again, last year, just a weird, Eichel with a skate, and then he falls into the boards weird. So you just never know, man. So I just want to appreciate everybody that listens and watches this program, okay, on this channel. We appreciate you, okay? We want you to be a subscriber. We need your help to get to 1,000 by opening night. But I also want you to comment. What do you think? Is 11 fair for Jack? Is 14 good for Nico? Did you expect Nico to be higher or lower? Did you expect Jack to be higher or lower? Again, like I said, I think the 11 is a ranking for Jack that is not based off of how skillful is he. It's how skillful is he, plus he can't stay healthy. So it's still a respectable number, but one that if he had played 82 games the last 2 years, I guarantee he would have been in the top 10. So we'll see, but it's going to be fun. Leave us a comment. Let me know what you think, and we'll catch you next time on Devil's Digest.